Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Ellie is here too. Hi, Ellie. Okay,
Hi.
so today we're going to try to analyze how come Yosef for 17 years did not tell his father that he was alive. And everybody asked the same question. And we're going to try to get on this. But at the end, I'm going to tell you a personal thing, my personal thing. So you may see a lot, beginning of this year, you may see it in different places. But what I'll tell you, you will not see because it's my personal issue. Okay. So the first thing everybody says, not everybody says, some say, imagine your father tells you to go to Shechem, and you know in Shechem are going to be your brothers who are not so satisfied with you. Could it well be that yet Yosef assumed that Yaakov was doing basically what Abraham Avinu was doing to Ishmael? He sends him away. He's not part of his. In other words, he chose not him. I personally don't like that answer, but some say that the answer is simple. Yosef was not sure that his father really wanted him to come back. I mean, it seems almost impossible to believe such a thing, because he actually says, Shlom achecha means he wants peace. But there are those who say that. I personally reject it, but I should, if we give a shir, might as well tell everybody's opinion. I personally don't like that idea. Then comes the Ramban. I hate to say, but I don't like the idea either, but that's not, nobody likes the idea. So Ramban says a very peculiar thing. Yosef had to make sure that his dream comes true. And if he tells his brothers and Yaakov that he's a Moshel, they will never bow down to him. It's only the thing when they don't know who he is that the whole thing goes wrong. You like that answer?
No.
No.
There's the so-called occasion. How do you do it to your father? I mean, God wants to make a dream. That's his business. I'm not, because of a dream, I'm not going to tell my parents that I'm alive. That's very good. There's one thing that I like very much, and that's in this week's Parsha. Take a look at Vayechi. So Vayechi, we start out like this. Vayikrevu yemei Yisrael lamut, vayikra livno liYosef. So what does he do?
He calls out for Yosef.
What does that imply? That Yosef's not there. Now take a look in the Chet. What does it imply?
He's also not there.
He's not there. It may well be, and I like the idea that it's a very fascinating idea. If Yosef would have gotten in touch with his father, what was the first question his father would have asked? What happened? And if Yaakov finds out what happened, the Jewish people would never start. Yaakov would have said, how can that be? And I can't imagine Shvatim would continue the Jewish people. And Yosef in his heart said, I cannot destroy the Jewish people, and I'm not going to say it unless somehow God works it through. And even when Yaakov was in Mitzrayim or in Goshen, Yosef made sure he's not very close. So Yaakov would never ask Yosef, what happened out there? Because if he had to tell him what happened out there, imagine what this would do to the Jewish people. You like that answer? It's not a bad answer. And the fact that he's Vayugad, he's not going to answer. And these are some of the answers that I have.
Wait, Saba.
I would like to tell you my own answer.
Saba?
And I'd like to work on this with you. And
Saba?
you can actually go back to last week's Parsha.
Can you hear me?
But I think that Ellie has a question.
Yes, Ellie, sure.
Are you saying that during that time that Yosef was in Egypt?
I can't hear too well. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Are you saying that also during the time Yosef was, even before his brothers came down, the reason he didn't want to contact Yaakov was because he didn't want Yaakov to find out that his brother sold him?
It's not even to find out, but if Yaakov finds out such a thing, I mean, the family would be destroyed. In other words,
Then what does Yaakov think happened?
Yaakov, if Yaakov finds out that the brother sold their own brother, I mean, what would he do? I mean, remember, we're dealing with Yaakov, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, the beginners of the Jewish people. And those 12 tribes are the Jewish people. And if something like this becomes public to Yaakov, he would have disowned his children. I don't know what he would have done. And Yosef was concerned. He was afraid. He would be willing to say, I don't want my father to ever ask that question. And even when he comes down, I'll make sure the question can never be asked. Because if it happens, it may create such a terrible thing that the Jewish people never become Jewish people. Whatever we send, it's an interesting thing. Whatever every korban we bring, Bnei Israel, seir izim achad. That is still within us, but it's something we did, and we tshuva. But if Yaakov would have found out in another way, it would have been disaster. So that's why. Yes.
According to that approach, then what did Yaakov think happened?
It's not clear what he thinks, but whatever it is, maybe he also doesn't want to ask. It's only if he would have gotten a letter from Yosef, I'm alive. Excuse me, what happened? Didn't you come back with a clothing that says with blood in it? This way, all right. It's an answer. I'm not too happy with it, but I think in a certain sense it makes good sense that Yosef was really concerned about the Jewish people, that Yaakov would disown his own family if he found out such a thing. But I would like to send something to you, and I tell you, it's very personal to me. So you have to forgive me in this, but anyway, watch this. So I want you to go now to last week's parsha. Mem Hey. Who wants to read it? Aleph?
I could read it.
Okay.
1 second. Okay. V'lo yachol Yosef להתאפק לכל הניצבים עליו, ויקרא הוציאו כל איש מעלי, ולא עמד איש איתו, והתוודע יוסף אל אחיו.
Everybody get out of this room. I don't want anybody in this room. Yeah, ולא עמד איש איתו. There was that one person except those children, right? Right? Now I want you to go to Pasuk. One second. Okay. This is an amazing story. Perek Mem Hey, Pasuk Tet Zayin.
Okay. Tet
The
Zayin.
most amazing thing you said. Read it.
1 second. Okay. והכל נשמע בית פרעה לאמור, באו אחרי יוסף, ויטב בעיני...
Stop. What happened?
Everyone heard.
Yeah.
What?
Everyone
There was nobody here. What? What's going on? Now that keep going, Ahuva.
ויטב בעיני פרעה.
What's going on here? You are dealing with a police state. You know what police state means? Everybody is being watched. They had their old KGB and FBI and they knew exactly what's going on. And it's very interesting to see this. Everywhere you see, it had to be okay by our power. They were watching Yosef like anything. Now watch this. And this is something that Shani asked me before. Take a look at Pasuk. It's an amazing story here. This is Per Nun, Pasuk Daled.
Should I read?
Please.
ויעברו ימי בכיתו, וידבר יוסף אל בית פרעה לאמור, אם נא מצאתי חן בעיניכם, דברו נא באוזני פרעה לאמור.
Now, what is that immediately? What does that show you? Joseph couldn't just knock on the door. Listen, he's the vice president. Oh, no. Please speak to him. Let's speak to him. What am I saying?
אבי השביעני לאמור, הנה אנוכי מת בקברי אשר קריתי לי בארץ כנען, שמה תקברני. ואתה אעלנה
what?
נא.
Nah, please let me go. My father made me swear to him. Well, in other words, had he not more than sworn, Pella said, you're not going to place. You go nowhere. But my father told me to do it. Please let me go. Keep going.
ואקברה את אבי ואשובה.
Okay.
ויאמר פרעה, עלה וקבור את אביך כאשר השביעך.
Now what? Go to Pasuk Tet. This is unbelievable. It answers your question, Shani.
ויעל עמו גם רכב, גם פרשים, ויהיה מחנה כבד מאוד.
You are going back, Yosef. We're going to send you, sure, there are a lot of soldiers to protect you, but to protect you from leaving. Yosef and everybody in the police state, doesn't matter who you are, general, everybody's always being watched. There is no way Yosef could have sent a letter to his father. There is no way.
Saba, not even a letter?
I tell you an interesting story about it. And now I've told you it's my personal thing. But before I go there, I want to just tell you one thing before I tell you my personal thing. We have a friend who was born in Romania, and they were close to this general in Romania. And when they left, the general said to them, I wish I were with you. And they said, what are you talking about? You're a general in the Romanian army. He says, you don't know what it's like. In the Romanian army, everybody watches everybody. There is no such thing as doing anything. I could be the general, but everybody, the cleaning lady could be one who was telling what's wrong. I wish I could go with you. So now Ellie asked, not even a letter. Who asked not even a letter?
Ellie.
I did.
And what I'm telling you now is a true story, and it's a personal story, and made me think about the whole story. So mind you now, this must have been 80 years ago, and I still remember it because I'm 85, and this was about 4 or 5 years old. I still remember it like yesterday afternoon. My grandmother and my aunt were in Germany, and there was no way to get a letter. Are they alive? Are they nothing? But somehow there was a thing called the Red Cross, and that was able to bring letters between warring countries. And maybe a year after the war started, a letter finally came from my grandmother and my aunt. And my mother was about ready to open up the letter. And you know what was going on there? Almost every line was blackened out by the censor. And I remember this like it was yesterday afternoon. Now, what could my grandmother have told somebody that would make the censor so upset? It doesn't matter. Whatever you say, the censor will read. They open up the letter, and maybe there was a signature, nothing much in there. Maybe he said, I'm good, whatever it was. I don't remember. But most of that letter was blackened out. And my suggestion is, there is no way that Yosef could have possibly sent out a letter, because they watched everything he did. And he says, and when he wants to say to please speak to Paro, he's not going any place. You have to get the whole system to work into you. And Paro says, okay, but you know why? Because you made me, father made you swear. Otherwise, bury him here. And you ain't going no place. we're going to send army with you. And you're going to leave your children here, your wives here, because Yosef, you're not going any place. And my suggestion is that there was absolutely no way Yosef could have sent a letter to his father. Remember, there was no post office, there was no cell phones. There's only one way to get information from place one to place two. You have to hire somebody. And you hire that person, he was on the pay of the KGB and the FBI. And I tell you this because I personally witnessed, God forbid, what a terrible place a police state can be. And I suggest that Paro was no different for Hitler, and there was no question that you could not take a letter and send it to your father, I'm alive. You're not sending anything out from Mitzrayim, nothing. We're watching everything you do. And my suggestion is that the reason he didn't tell his father was because he was living in a police state.
Very interesting. Thank you, Saba.
Saba.
Yes, and this is my personal experience. So not many people look at it like that, but I remember as a child, mind you, now I'm 85 years old. I still remember my mother opening that letter, and all it was just blank lines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Saba, can I ask a question?
Sure.
So I like the points that you were bringing about, like how Paro responded and how he was saying, like, to Yosef, like, oh, you're still gonna stay here. There's still a lot of like positive things that Paro says to Yosef, like they're gonna get the best part of my land. Like he's very positive about it. Like if let's say Yosef
Maybe
made up
to
a
keep them
story,
under his
You're
watch.
100% right. Who wants to answer?
Maybe it's to keep them under his watch. Like it's
Because
in his
what?
best to keep Yosef's family
Yes,
under
of
his own
course.
watch.
I'm going to give you the best part of the land, but you know what? You're not leaving. Yeah, Ahuva, you got? Yes, I'm going to give you beautiful land here. You remember, Stalin promised the people the moon, everything. They get everything here. But if you say something about Stalin, you're not live tomorrow afternoon. And if you're interested to see this, Ahuva, are you still there? I don't see you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here. Bye.
It was an interesting thing because if you take a look at the connection at what Yosef presents when he takes the brothers, he takes the weak brothers and he tells them that they were what? They were shepherds. Because if they were strong, you know what he would do to them? He'd draft them into his army. Oh, shepherds, you're right. You can go to Goshen, but watch your step, guys. Don't do anything that I don't want. A police state does not allow you, and you're right, Aruba. You can, if you're in a police state, you can sell tomatoes and potatoes, but just say something against Saddam Hussein or something against any of these guys. Even China today. If you're a Muslim, you go into concentration camps. So, I mean, it seemed to me almost self-apparent that there was no way this Jew can send a letter out of Mitzrayim. No way.
But we also say that like when Yosef interprets the dreams, like everything was given to him in the house of Paro, besides for like Paro's position himself. So why couldn't he have gone up to Paro and said like, listen, like I had a rough childhood.
Of course, he should have knocked on the door. Yeah, you're absolutely right, but he doesn't. He can't. Because there was a whole police between him and Paro, and there is nothing you can do. Wherever you go, they know exactly where you are. When you say it, you say, "How you call Ishmael?" Yeah, Paro. There is nothing you can't. And not only that, father against son, son against father, uncles. There is no place, and that's what happened under Stalin. You never knew who was on the KGB, and you know what? They were almost all on the KGB watching it. So I think you're on target there, that he could not just walk into Paul and say, "Hey, Paul, you know, my dad died. I need to bury him." Oh, no. Dabruna, Paul, some say actually the reason. If you take a look, that's an interesting thing. If you take a look at Viyachi again yesterday, very interesting. So take a look at the beginning. Who wants to read the Perek Mem Zayin Pasuk Kaftet?
Kaftet? Or
yeah,
I can read it. Kaftet. Oh, sorry, I'm in the wrong place. ויקרבו ימי ישראל למות, ויקראו לבנו ליוסף, ויאמרו לו, אמנם מצאתי חן בעיניך, שים נא ידך תחת ירכי, ועשית עמדי חסד ואמת, אל נא תקרבני
אל
במצרים.
נא תגברני במצרים. ושכב, go ahead.
ושכבתי עם אבותיי, ונשאתני ממצרים, וקרתני בקבורתם, ויאמר אנוכי אעשה כדברך.
Dad, I'm going to do exactly what to say. What did he say to him?
ויאמר השבה
Hishava li. Vayishava lo. Wait a second.
וישבה לו.
Yeah, I said he has to take an oath. He just said he's not going to do it. The Meforshim say very good. He did it in order for him to tell to Paro, my father swore to me. That was another way in which it's an amazing story. Because if he just said, I promised my father, but he made me swear. Ooh. All right, I'll let you go, but leave your kids here, leave your family here, and I'm going to send soldiers with you. So the idea is also very interesting that he made him swear after he promised. Because now I can go to Papa, so Papa, I am, what are we going to do? I would love to bury him here in this beautiful Messiah of yours, but he made me swear. And as you know, Yosef never was buried outside of Israel till they left. Why?
Because he wasn't allowed to.
Same thing. There was no way, you don't bury anybody outside of Mitzrayim unless the Torah says so. And you have no reason for it. So as I say before, I had personal experience of seeing what a police state can do. And in my mind, there is no way Yosef could have ever sent a letter to his father. He's alive.
Really interesting.
Saba.
Thank you, Saba.
Thank you all for listening.
Abba Elliot,
Yes.
question also.
What happened to your grandmother? And
I
your
don't
aunt?
see her. Oh, there. Yeah.
What happened to your grandmother and your aunt?
We don't exactly know, but I mean, we know she was put into Auschwitz, and I say Kaddish for her on Yom Kippur, and I say Kaddish for my aunt on Tisha B'Av, because we don't really know what. I mean, we know that she was deported to Auschwitz. We know that, and you don't have to be a genius to know what happened there, but time and when, we don't know. So we're dealing with a universe that's, thank God, not known to us. But if you look at this universe of Hitler and Stalin and even Xi today in China, what he did to Hong Kong, you can't send a letter out unless they want you to.
Yeah, Saba, it's interesting. I was reading a sefer by the Rav on this week's Parsha on Shemot, and he brings a lot of comparisons between like Nazi Germany and
Is that right?
Mitzrayim. Like he's bringing a lot of different, like it says like Haba in Mitzrayim, like they were never actually like fully, they thought that they were immersed in like the Mitzri culture, but then by the time when the Mitzrayim like actually they like turned against them, and they were as if they were like new, which is like
Yeah. There's no question. This is the system is almost identical, and as you see it, okay. Shenishma b'sorot tovot. Let's hope for the best.
Love you,
And I
Saba.
wish everybody good things.
Love you, Saba. Thank you
Love
so
you all.
much.
Shalom, shalom lachem.
Thanks.
So
Saba.
good.
Love you.